us thus far along the way. Thou who hast by thy might led us unto the light. Keep us forever in the path, we pray, lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee. Lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee. I'd like to begin this investigation this morning, the place where I met God. I want you to know today, as a people, we met God before slavery. Hello, somebody. There were places we met God during slavery, and there are places we met God since slavery. In our text today, Jacob's story, and many of our own stories run a parallel track with many lessons that we need to remember in order to share with our children the benefit of our experiences. Look at the story, if you would, of Jacob. Here's a man who met God in a holy place, Bethel, the house of God. From there, he went on to Laban's house, where he ended up married first to the wrong woman, then to the woman he loved, and in the process, you know the story. In fact, you know it well. He ends up having babies by 4 different women. And when we join him in today's text, he's on his way back home. But remember, he had left home not under the best of circumstances. Hello, somebody? What did he do, Tindall? Well, he tricked his brother, his twin brother, a boy he had shared the womb with for 9 months. We forget that sometime. We seem to think that Esau had some stepchild and some bad guy or a half-brother with a mean temper. This is Jacob's twin brother. Jacob tricked him out of his birthright. He tricked him out of his blessing, and Jacob had to get out of town in a hurry. Ain't no fight worse than the fight you have with the folk who are closest to you. Ain't no fight like a family fight. Oh, I wish I had a witness in here. Ain't no person in the world can love you like family. Oh, come on here, somebody. And ain't nobody can mess you up like family. Ain't no fight worse than a family fight. Hello? Folk who don't know you, if it really doesn't matter. Things just roll off. You could care less what folk think about you or who you know not close to. I was invited one year to talk on Black history to a group of government workers. Josephine Murray invited me to come out to the IRS. And when I got through talking about Reagan and Nixon and Bush and all those other boys, they were steaming. And they were pretty mad at me. As a matter of fact, I preached a sermon from that particular, some of you may remember from that particular experience. I preached a sermon that said, when nobody shakes your hand. But when folk talk with folk, you know, folk, you don't really matter. You don't. It don't really matter what folk you don't know what they think about you. But I don't change who I am because of where I am. I told them, you know who you invited in the first place. And they were upset, and they didn't invite me back again. So if you're upset, you'll get over it. You know, folk you don't know, it really doesn't bother you. It just rolls right off of you. But when you get into a family thing with folk who are close to you, it gets bitter, It gets ugly. Things are said which can never be unsaid. Well, wounds are deep and some scars are permanent. Jacob and his twin brother had a thing, and Jacob had left home under some terrible circumstances. Now, in our text, he's on his way back home. And what was eating at him was waiting for him when he ran into the one he ran away from. Sounds like a lot of our families that I've ministered to. I've said it time and time again. I said it to a young man the other day right up here. If geography ain't your problem, then a change in geography ain't going to solve your problem. If you got a problem here in Kansas City, moving to Chicago ain't going to help you. You know why it ain't going to help you? Because you're going to take you with you. You can't run away from you. I wish I had a witness in it. Same mess you left here is going to be here whenever you get back here. Jacob was worried, Jacob was upset, Jacob was nervous, and he had every right to be. You see, when you've done wrong, and you know you have done wrong, you can lie to everybody you want to, but you cannot lie to yourself. Especially when you know you've done wrong. You can run, you can hide, but you cannot run away from yourself. And you can't hide from yourself. Jacob had a date with destiny. And what was eating at him was waiting on him when he ran into the one that he ran away from. So the word says he did everything he could by the way of preparation. Everything humanely he could think of to appease the one that he had done wrong. But he had still to come to grips with God. Until you face God as you are, with no pretense, you can't face nobody else. You'll have no peace within yourself. You got to face God. Oh, come on here, somebody. We got to face God. Some of us have done so many things to other people. We think that God has forgotten. Now the person that you wrong, you may not have ever apologized, but God knows when you're wrong. And ultimately, you got to face God. You got to get what? Right with him. Have I got a witness at it in here? You got to face God, and you can't face other folk until you face God. Jacob is at the Jabbok, where we join him in this text. And what was eating at him? Wrestling. He was alone, but he couldn't be still. There was no one around him. All was quiet, but he still could not be still. No peace. Look at Jacob. He was rich and no peace. He was successful and no peace. All the money he wants, no peace. All the loving he wants, no peace. Children by 4 different women, no peace. Somebody who had made money their God needs to hear this today. Somebody who's made sex their God needs to listen to this story. All the things that a man or woman could want, but he had no peace. And Jacob found himself all alone in the middle of a wrestling match. He met God in a painful situation. The man, the word says, a figure, a force not like any other force, came and wrestled with Jacob all night long. Have you ever tossed and turned all night long? You could get no peace. You could get no rest. Can't you picture them in the text wrestling, locked in a no-hold-barred situation? Jacob with a stranglehold on God. God with a hammerlock on Jacob. Jacob with a scissors hold on God. God putting a full Nelson on Jacob. Jacob refusing to let go and God refusing to give in. When God saw how Jacob